This podcast is brought to you by sleepyj.com/beats. If you need a beat for your next album, mixtape, or demo project, check out sleepyj.com/beats. That's SLEEPEJ.com/beats. Warning, this podcast may offend some people unintentionally. So if you get offended easily, you are advised to turn off now. And if you're still here listening, thanks and enjoy the show. What's up with the world? It's your boy CBJ. You tuned in to Sleep Talking. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for checking me out. You are listening to Sleep Talking. You are on Sleep Vision. I appreciate everybody for supporting me, checking me out like I do every week. This week is probably going to be a short one. I did not record this early like I normally do, so I'm trying to record this today on Tuesday, trying to make sure that it gets out today. God willing, with a prayer, we'll get it out to you guys, and you guys will be enjoying it today. If not, it's Wednesday. But it is episode 40. The last 2 weeks I had special guests. I did some FaceTime interviews. If you didn't see those, 2 weeks ago I did Major Riley from Dope House Records, or formerly of Dope House Records. I interviewed Jennifer Rogers from I don't remember what company she's from, but she's a prison reform activist. So those were both good conversations that I had with them. It was good information. I'm glad I was able to do it. But again, those were the last 2 weeks. This week I'm a little bit back to my normal program. I got to do some catching up. So because I'm going to do some catch up on some things from the past couple weeks, these might be a little bit old topics to you guys, but I do want to say my part on them. Before we get to that, I did watch the Super Bowl. I enjoyed it. It could have been better. Commercials could have been better. The thing about the Super Bowl, for people that don't know, is if you were not a fan of the sport overall, like I mean a real fan of the sport, like the science behind it, it's probably a pretty boring game because it was a low-scoring game. But the outcome that I thought was going to happen happened. Tom Brady went back, won his Super Bowl. That's all I want to say about that because, well, football season is over. I am watching the Cowboys make horrible off-season decisions by keeping Kellen Moore and giving him a promotion, which is pissing me off. So, again, I'll probably have to check out on my team until they make it to the playoffs again next year, if they make it to the playoffs next year. But that's enough of football news. Moving on. What else do I got to talk about? This week, Gucci is under fire. Gucci had... it's weird because Gucci did a Sambo-like turtleneck. And with that turtleneck, apparently, the reason why I say it's weird is because apparently that turtleneck's been out for like 6 months already, but people are just now catching it. Being that I am not a Gucci wearer or fan or anything like that, where it would be something that I would notice. Apparently, it hit the internet. It was trending. It was what everyone is upset about this week. T.I. had asked for people to start boycotting them. A couple other clothing lines. I don't remember all of them. So rich people are boycotting those because of the Sambo-like turtlenecks that they got going on right now. Dapper Dan in New York is a designer. He has them coming out to have a conversation about stuff like that, so we'll see how that goes. Moving on, Toys R Us is rumored to be coming back with new owners, so anybody that grew up in the 80s and the 90s that loved Toys R Us, hey, there's still hope that the draft will be back. Moving on, what else do I want to talk about? We got some awards. We'll talk about the Grammys. I didn't watch them personally. I'm not a Grammy watcher. If it would have been BET or MTV Awards, I probably would have watched it. I just never been a Grammys person. Performances are usually shitty. Yeah, I don't really care for the hosts usually. Every now and then they have somebody worth watching, but overall I'm not really a big fan of the Grammys, so I really wasn't too worried about it. But all that being said, Cardi B won Best Rap Album of the Year. Shout outs to her. She did have a really good album. I I don't really, again, I didn't watch it. I don't know who she all went against. I know Mac Miller was the only person that was brought up that she was going against. But shout out to her. Drake did win an award, I think, for God's Plan. His mic supposedly got cut off. So there's two ways of looking at it. On one hand, he took a pause. They thought he was done. They cut it off. The rumor is that they did ask him afterwards because they thought he might have had more to say, and they were going to let him come back and finish his speech. But he said he was happy with the way it ended. So I don't know. That's the Grammys. That's the Grammy side of the story. He didn't really say one way or the other. So who knows? Moving on. J-Lo did a performance, a Motown tribute that apparently people were pissed off about. She was kind of upset about it, but I forget that she does have, you're not used to her doing she's not going to do an Aretha Franklin type of performance, but I'm sure she did fine. She's a great performer. I don't really know why people were upset unless she tried to do some notes that she had no business trying to sing, and she sucked ass at it. But that's all my Grammy news. Other news with awards. Nicki Minaj has tweeted out that she won't be her Young Money as a record label. So that's Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, and Drake, and I don't know if they have anybody else, but none of them will be at the BET Awards this year. Supposedly BET said some things that Lil Wayne didn't like, so Lil Wayne said he wasn't going to perform. So in solidarity, I think everybody's going to boycott and not do that at all this year. So if you're looking forward to seeing Young Money in any of the BET Awards, they're not planning on doing it as of right now. So we'll see how that plays out for you guys. I know I'm kind of speed rounding through everything because, again, I'm trying to get through all this today and get caught back up. But also, the next couple of things I'm going to probably go on little tangents about. So I do want to talk about this Liam Neeson situation. If you guys haven't heard, if you haven't heard it, you guys had to have been under a rock. But Liam Neeson did an interview. They asked him how he found inspiration to do the movies he was doing. I don't know where he drew his inspiration for this movie. He then goes on to explain a friend of his got raped, and she didn't know anything about him other than he was a black man. He went on to say after that he was so upset by that he went out to bad neighborhoods where there was black people because the guy that had raped his friend was black, that he was hoping that a black person would try him and then he could kill them. Now, I think what he was trying to say was, I wish anybody would have tried me so I could have killed him. Or at least that's what he probably should have said. Because had he said that, he would not have the label of a racist, that he's now a racist and he wanted to just kill a random black man. Because then people were taking it as he was trying to kill an innocent person, which it wasn't necessarily being an innocent person because he was trying to find somebody that was willing to engage in harming him, but instead he was the wrong person to try, is the way I interpret it, and I took it that way because I know me personally, or my friends and I, or whoever. I know people personally. You might go watch some sort of karate flick or some sort of fighting movie. You'd be like, man, I wish somebody would try that shit on me, and then you're ready to fight somebody because you got all souped up. Just like some people went out and watched Fast and the Furious, they wanted to go racing their cars and they killed themselves by accident. Or you've been in a situation where you've heard somebody got hurt that you care about, and then you be like, you know what, I don't care who it is, the next person that tries me today, they're going to catch all this heat. And I think that's kind of what he was trying to get across, but because he said the guy was a black bastard, like his wording was, I was looking for a black bastard to kill, because he said that was what his where he went wrong with his comments and where he shouldn't have said. He should just probably said, I was just looking for any scummy person or a bad person or anybody that was willing to engage with me in that moment, then I was willing to kill them. I could understand that. But I'm not making excuses for him by any means. And if sounds like that, I apologize. I'm not trying to make any excuse for him. I just think that's the mind frame he was coming from. I think the mind frame was, I'm so upset by this that I just want to cause physical harm to anybody willing to do it. Now, the fact that it was specifically said a black person, I think that's where he went wrong, and he probably should have a better PR person to help him prep better and help him figure that out. And I think I seen something. Well, I don't think I actually did watch a thing where it was this behind the scenes clip that Trevor Noah does. I don't know. You got to see him online or whatever. But it was behind the scenes clip that he did on YouTube. And he was saying that, he kind of explained his thing kind of similar to what I said. But he was also saying that he thinks that if it would have been Tom Hanks that said that, people would have laughed at him. Like, really? Tom Hanks was out here looking for somebody, whatever. So, I mean, you can look at it how you want to look at it. It can go, I mean, if you feel like he's a racist, then I guess he's a racist. I mean, your perspective is your reality. So if you look at things, in a dark way, or if you try and see the wrong in it, then I guess it is like your perception is your reality. So if you perceive everybody to be horrible people, or if you believe people to be racist because of one comment or one thought, and I think he was saying that when he was younger versus today, but that's where he got the inspiration from that moment of that hurt, that anger, the revenge that he wanted in that, he put that into this character. But that's my personal take. That's the way I interpret it. I could be wrong. If I ever met him and he actually was a racist, I'd let you guys know. I don't think I will ever meet him, but if I do, I'll let you guys know when that happens. The other thing is, so Tekashi is back in the news. Obviously, if you guys don't know what he's in the news for, he's currently being accused of domestic violence, beating on his baby mama. He's also in the news for snitching, and I have thoughts on these two things. So I want to get into that. The baby mom abuse, I'm not going to, I don't have any opinions on him abusing her or not. But if you guys haven't heard, supposedly his baby mom has been saying that, he used to beat on her. He used to accuse her of cheating on him with Shotty, which is his record label owner and his manager, and the guy that he's being indicted with for all the gang banging shit. So he apparently, for some reason, felt threatened by him and his girlfriend's relationship. So he was always concerned with whether or not she was cheating on him with her, or if she was cheating on him. You know what I'm trying to say. If his girlfriend was cheating on Tekashi with his friend Shotty, that's what he was always concerned with. He was constantly trying to find out. He was always, and supposedly he beat her in front of Shotty and all this and that. I don't really know. I don't know if she's just trying to get herself in a safer position because he's snitching, and she's worried about that because she did come out and say, with him now telling on the gang, now him and his daughter, and his mom are all in jeopardy of being hurt because of the gang that he's supposedly snitching on. And I don't mean supposedly, and supposedly they're all now in danger because of him snitching, not supposedly because he is supposedly he's snitching. No, we all know he's snitching. The papers are out. People are investigating, talking about it all over. Now, going into the whole snitching thing, here's my personal take on it. Coming from somebody who has been around a lot of street element, and not saying that, I'm a super gangster, not saying that I've been, whatever. I'm not going to, say anything like that, but I know some people from the streets. I do know some real people. And my personal take on it has always been, and this is why whenever I got out of what I consider my knucklehead days, when I stopped doing things like that, was there was no loyalty in the street because of people like Tekashi. They were always telling to save their own ass, but they were willing to partake in all the things and get all the benefits. You can't be out here in the streets, telling people to suck your dick and saying you're super gangster and doing all these different things. And then once you get caught up, now you're going to be like, no, I'm just a regular person. I wasn't trying to do all that. They made me do it, whatever. No, you was a gangster when you said all that. You wanted to be in there and all this and that. Now I've heard some people say like, well, all the supposedly friends were stealing from him and this and that. That happens in the street element too. I don't know if you guys know this. If you're out here selling drugs and whatever the case is, there's the cutthroat business of being in the streets is if you're out here selling drugs, you have to worry about the police catching you, the feds watching you. You got to worry about your girlfriend not telling on you if they know. This is all about the more people that know about you, the more people that are there that can tell on you. So your friends that are involved, they're either trying to rob you or they're trying to keep you from being killed. One of two reasons. One, they don't want you being killed because you're keeping them fed and keeping them happy. Two, someone else is getting jealous off of what you're doing and they want that shine. They want that clout. So it's always going to be that happen. It's always the case in the streets. That's why if I ever tell anybody that's not what you want, it's because it's a stressful thing. They say it's easy money. Yeah, it's easy money in a large sum, fast economic way, meaning you can make a few $100,000, a few $1,000s, a few $100 really fast. But it's not the easiest money being made because you got to worry about all those elements. You got to worry about someone trying to rob you. You got to worry about somebody trying to kill you. You got to worry about someone trying to snitch on you. You got to worry about the cops watching you. It's a lot of things that you got to worry about. It's a high stress volume situation. And if you don't know that, you are in for a hell of a ride. You're going to get fucked around 7 different ways from Sunday. Promise you that. So I personally have a problem with him partaking in all the festivities, and then once he got in trouble, now you're telling. Not to say that someone else wouldn't tell, not to say that the people that were doing, taking the money from him, robbing him, and doing all that were any better, but as a street person that you're supposed to be, you can't do that. You can't be a gangster and telling on people. But, I understand he wants to come home. I heard an audio saying like he's trying to come home sometime while he still has a chance. He wants to capitalize on his, his name that he has. He wants to, be with his family and all that. I understand. I have personal family members and friends that have gone through the system, that have, fought their way through it, that have lost, many years of their life to that life. But because of the upbringing that it's not my upbringing, but because of the people that I've been around in my life, I know that all those people aren't bad. I know some of them are very stand-up people. They're very loyal. They're very smart, but they're loyal to a fault. They're loyal to the wrong things. If they spent the time focusing on doing good things, then they wouldn't have ended up in prison or ended up losing so much of their time in their life. So my personal take on it is if you're going to run in that lifestyle, you're going to run into all of it. Sorry about that. You should not be playing with fire. That's basically what I'm trying to say. You don't go in the kitchen playing with the fire and then get burned and then get mad because you got burned. Like, no, you knew you was playing with fire. You shouldn't have done that. So because he was partaking, saying, test my gangster, I'm gangster, can't nobody touch me, can't nobody fuck with me. And then even your friends are getting mad because they're constantly having to stick up for you, constantly having to save your ass, constantly doing all this and that. Eventually they're going to feel entitled to, like, you know what? He's not the gangster. I'm the one that's keeping him from getting his ass kicked. I'm the one that's always doing this. And they're going to start, feeling underappreciated when you're constantly getting them into shit. It happens. Shit, I have friends that, you know what? I love my friends. I want to hang out with them. But sometimes because they run off at the mouth, we get into too many fights whenever we're out in the streets. I can't hang out with them every day. I got friends that I would love to hang out with from when I was a kid, but now that they're strung out on drugs, like, no, you're going to end up in some sort of fucking dope house that I'm not trying to be in. I got friends that are in that street life that are probably going to wind up, hey, do a run with me real quick. I don't want to go to jail, so I'm not going there. You got to make smarter, better decisions. That's my whole point. I understand he's got a family at home. But again, if you're going to be in those situations, you have to be prepared for all of the consequences. I don't feel like he should be excluded just because he thinks like, oh, well, I've only known him for a year or whatever. You were playing with that fire. You're going to get burned. But I do understand. He's a young man. He doesn't know. He's still going to spend. He's facing life in prison for paying for somebody to get hit. I don't even know if he knew. Well, no, he had. I mean, I'm not going to make no excuses. He was 22 years old, 23 years old, however the fuck old he is. I think he's in his 20s. He's old enough to know consequences and repercussions. His dad got shot, I believe. He knows. He knows enough that he shouldn't be telling. And I did hear in this interview he was saying, like, Snoop doesn't have any room to talk. Snoop beat his case. Yeah, Snoop beat his case, but he didn't know he was going to beat his case. He went in there saying he was innocent. He held that point of view down the whole time, went through the whole system of fighting that case, and it wasn't an easy case for him to beat. So you can't compare your two. And not to say that Snoop Dogg was super gangster, because I've heard some stories about him too, not discrediting or crediting him. I'm just saying I've heard some stories about him too. All that to say, Tekashi is out here making things interesting again. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but his BM that said that he abused her, he also has apparently done a commercial for a sex shop about anti-abuse. So that was interesting. A lot of people were, that's interesting that he did that, and now he's, being accused of beating his girlfriend and all that stuff. But guys, that is my episode. I know I kind of speed rounded all the way through it, but I wanted to make sure I got you guys an episode this week. I don't know exactly how long this video is or this audio is, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Before I get out of here, guys, please follow me on all my social media. Follow me on Twitter at SleepyJ. That's SLEEP_E_J. Follow me on Instagram at SleepyJ, SLEEPEJ, all one word. Look me up on Facebook, SleepyJ, SLEEP-E-J. That's my fan page. You can look up the Sleep Talkin Podcast on Facebook. Please hit the like button on those. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're following me on the Sleep Vision channel. One more thing. What am I forgetting? I don't really know. With all that being said, guys, I'm sending you away with peace, love, positive light, vibes, thoughts, and prayers. I salute you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Until next time, take it easy, and I'm out.